Quilting bees, spelling bees, and honeybees have all influenced the life of Averie Clark, founder of Collective Courage, a creative reuse enterprise based in York, doing business as the bee, gathering with purpose. Clark's rural central Pennsylvania upbringing provided hands-on experience with traditional home arts based on values of self-sufficiency, sustainability, and stewardship, which she enthusiastically shares and promotes in her current urban community. Her talk today will be on collective craft. And I'm just going to...
It's all good.
You're good. You set it up.
This is the only button you need to get started. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Cool.
All right. This white-haired woman in the gingham apron, who's teaching her niece Shirley to piece a quilt, was my collective craft mentor and my grandmother. Mary Elizabeth Spriggle Hubbard. To my brother and my daughters and my grandsons, she was fondly known as Nanny. And this social enterprise I started here in York to promote creative reuse and connect people to one another through the vehicle of traditional home arts is all her fault. Well, maybe my mom had something to do with it too, and there were probably a few other people as well. It was they, Nanny, my mom, and other women who claimed to love me, who introduced me to needle and thread. That's right, the gateway drugs of handcraft. It really started out innocently enough, I suppose, with the lacing cards. Who remembers lacing cards? But then, sure enough, came the jersey loop weaving and the spool knitting and the little plastic spinning wheel that I was thrilled with, and making Barbie clothes, of course. I was simply too weak to resist, and it set upon me this addictive path to a lifelong addiction, really, to handcraft. And we lived in the middle of nowhere, really. Maybe it wasn't as bad as all this. But honest to goodness, the directions to my childhood home really were turn down Buckwheat Valley Road and then take the third dirt lane on the left. But then one day, I had just about grown too big to play underneath Nanny's quilt, and she took me to see these ladies. Well, not these women exactly, but they very well could have been, as she grew up in an old order Mennonite home and was still connected to that community. Not unlike the cultures before them, these women understood the benefit of connecting to handcraft as something both personal and communal, something aesthetic and functional, stitch by stitch. And that's really when I fell in love with collective craft. Beyond the benefits craft offers for physical and mental well-being individually, collective craft reinforces meaningful relationships. It's where we share our stories, and it strengthens the fabric of our community. When we gather to craft, in friendship, with family, being open and welcoming to strangers with purpose, we connect. This is a snapshot from the bees' 4th birthday party. Some of you were there. Mothers and daughters, grandmothers, granddaughters, friends. This is where we learn to cooperate and where we learn to collaborate. Bringing people together around collective handcraft opens us up for something really cool, co-discovery. This bee class was an example. Their families learn new skills together. When our hands are kept busy, our creative, natural selves come alive. When we gather, like we do for skill swap sessions like this one, we get to talk about our processes, the engineering steps. We share our secrets of the make it work moments we've learned through failing quickly and trying again, taking it out, talking it out, honing our capacity for problem solving. Collective craft also helps us to identify ways to engage not only with one another, but also with our larger community. Some recent examples you'll see here are the backdrop for the Cable House Presents concert series and the table runners we made and donated to the Farm and City dinner. And of course, just like Josh said, our modern world changes things a little bit. We've come to the point where crafting collectively can be done outside of being in the same room or even in the same community. Crafters around the world are making distance a non-issue. Craft stimulates our collective imagination. By bringing many hands to the table, we blend our efforts of self-expression, and we learn to appreciate different perspectives and approaches. We also get to celebrate the unique results, like this quilt that was made by many hands. Collective craft, I believe, has the innate potential to be a record of our cultural history as well. Lively improvisation, born of a tradition of necessity, in Gee's Bend, Alabama, landed these quilts on the walls of museums across the country, including the Whitney. Collective craft moves us from knitting in front of the TV alone to organizing revolutionary acts of beauty, like yarn bombing, and joining with others, like the people of Pittsburgh did for this bridge, to build partnerships that magnify amazing positive community impact. And as we engage our collective passion with a higher cause, the results can lead to cultural shifts with historic significance. The NAMES Project AIDS Memorial Quilt started in 1987, now has more than 48,000 panels. With the bee in York, our "if you build it, they will come" approach is already making a difference. Beyond introducing people to new skills is the bit where people already engaged in craft are finding a place to come together. One of the things I love to hear most is, "I feel like I finally found my people." So with the bee, we host monthly craft gatherings. They're open to the public and free. We offer classes to learn new things. We provide ways for people to earn money as a producer, opportunities to help with charity projects, and we've got a lot more things that are really cool and I'm very excited about, but can't tell you yet, that are on the near horizon. So just looking at this, I sort of pieced the quilt together of all the images. I thank you for your attention. If you want to learn a little more fully about the bee, or if you want a couple stories about Nanny, or figuring out how collectively we can engage York in collective craft, I welcome your questions.